Happy Monday morning to everybody out there. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to talk about a lot of different topics today. The premier topic is going to be all about the lawsuit. And a lot of you guys have been asking us to cover this because we are covering the whole Wheel of Fortune one from about a month ago. And so we will certainly do that today. And as always, if you are new here, we want to welcome you to the Gamble Smart channel. We are here to better educate you on how all this stuff works, make you better gamblers overall, so that you have the full knowledge walking into the casino, build your confidence up, and you know that all these myths that we talk about are getting squashed by us because we have the experience to prove that all those things are not true. And so every now and then we do a Q&A, but today we're going to do something a little different because there's a lot of news items that we figured today let's turn it into a news type video, and we're going to talk about this lawsuit at the end. But we got a couple more things. But first, Dave, how are you doing? We were at WinStar this weekend.
We were, and I am tired. I don't know why. Just
I know, right?
worn out. Oh, but you did forget to say like, subscribe, and hit that
Oh yeah,
bell to stay notified.
I forget that every Monday. So if you do like that kind of stuff, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Down here somewhere. Okay.
Are you recovered from Saturday? Because it was a long day.
Yeah, it was a very long day. I did go up there Friday night. Got a great night's sleep, so I was ready to go, but still had to drive 3.5 hours home yesterday, and or Saturday night, and that drive always kicks my butt. So, but anyway, we're here for you guys. We're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff today. But first, I want you to talk about this Mirage story, which, of course, let's talk about what's going on with Mirage, Dave. Let's talk about that first.
Mirage was purchased by Hard Rock. This is well known by now, and their closing date's coming up. So they are officially closed July 17th. However, they have a regulatory issue to deal with, which is approximately $1.6 million on the casino floor in progressive jackpots. So if they were just closing for, let's say, a couple of months, it would not be a big deal. But they're going to be closed until 2027. So that's beyond the regulatory standpoint for how long a casino can be closed and keep those progressives on the floor. They've also announced that they're majorly changing the floor completely. So a lot of those machines may be going away. And in which case, what do you do with the progressives? Well, according to Nevada state law, gaming commissions casinos have to clear those jackpots out. Now, I got an email on this, and they asked, are they working with the gaming commission in order to change the payback percentages? Well, unfortunately, that's not the way it's going to be done, because the payback percentage would have to be insanely changed, and still that wouldn't guarantee those progressives will be won. What they're going to be doing is from July 9th through the 13th, they're going to be doing random drawings. You have to be present to win. You have to be a member of the Players Club, which is the Unity Players Club for Hard Rock. And they're going to be doing giveaways throughout that time. And it will resume on July 16th for the last day. So there's going to be $1 million given away between July 9th and July 16th. Must be present to win. So if you just want to sit there, they're going to be doing hot seat drawings, which means you got to be on a machine. You got to be playing. They're going to be doing all sorts of drawings and giveaways during that time, giving away actual cash. This is not casino credit. This is cash. Okay. So that's impressive. That's just amazing that's going to happen.
I wonder if we can set up a tent right next to a machine and just put a little arm up there reach down and just push it, like every minute or so, just so we're eligible.
I would, if I was there, I would just sit at some random machine. Doesn't matter what. Play the minimum bet possible just to be an active player.
30-cent bet somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then every minute, just hit the button, or every 30 seconds, hit the button.
That's right.
Just to be eligible for, there's $400,000 being given away each day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's incredible. I mean, but no, that money will not be done via the slot machines. It will be given away, because all the money, those progressives, still belongs to the players. Right. So in order to close their doors for the 2+ years they're going to be planning to be closed, almost 3 years, they're going to have to clear all those out. So really, and, if you are in the Las Vegas area, please go to Mirage during those days.
Yeah, you really should.
From work.
I mean, this is a good chance.
That is a great chance to. I mean,
I wonder how crowded it's going to be just because of that, right?
$1,000. Oh, it's going to be packed.
Yeah,
it's going to be absolutely packed.
Plus, you get to see an iconic hotel again, casino.
Yep. Get the last
see its final days. Yeah,
the last look.
And we'll talk about.
You might be able to grab something.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, go to
You could,
the bathrooms and start taking some stuff that has Mirage.
yeah.
I'm not telling you
No,
to
no, no, no,
steal
no, no,
anything.
actually do this.
No, 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 no.
Uh, there will actually be a auction for all the stuff inside it that has not been set
Yeah,
yet,
yeah.
but that will be set later on. It will be all at offsite location, and there'll be auction materials on that. I have heard rumors that it will be an online auction as well, so
Oh,
you
cool.
could
Okay.
try to buy one of those big dolphins, or something like that.
Now, do you know if they've already closed the table games yet there, or is it
Everything
only?
is still active as
Okay.
far as I
So
know.
this
I
might be
haven't
a good
heard.
chance to get some of those chips, right? Get a $5
Yeah, get a
chip
couple
and
chips.
take it with
It
you. You
will.
don't have to. I mean, that's yours. You don't have to
Yep.
turn those in if you don't want to. So,
It is not being
no,
reopened as Mirage. Okay,
right.
so it is
Yeah, those
just
chips will no
going to be
longer be
Hard Rock.
valid. Yeah,
No longer be
exactly
valid.
right.
Correct.
Yeah. And Dave mentioned something which is really important. And I hope you guys understand this. Is that a lot of people feel that casinos just can clear out big progressives whenever they want because they don't want to pay it. Right? Progressive gets really high. They don't want to pay that out, so they go in there and they reset it. By law, they are not allowed to do that. So a couple of things can happen. Right? The first is that someone hits the progressive, and then as soon as that happens, they take the machine out of service. This was made very famous by that lion's share. I don't know if you remember that at MGM Grand.
I do remember
That was
that.
one of those machines that was there forever. It climbed over 2.2 million, I think it was, when it was a hit as a dollar machine, a huge progressive on a $3 bet. Well, they decided to leave that machine in service until somebody hit that jackpot. And as soon as they did, the machine went out of service, and that person actually got to keep the machine too. But if they
That's
don't
kind of
do
cool.
that, yeah, I know it is really cool. But that's not typically what they do anymore. What they do is they take whatever that progressive amount is over the base, and they combine it with another progressive of an active machine on the floor. So if it's going to be a machine that's going to be out of service for a certain period of time, they're going to have to do that. And so sometimes they just pick a machine at random, but usually if there's an identical machine that is next to it that has the same, it's the same machine, like a 10 times pay or something like that, they will just add it to that machine. But they have freedom to choose which machine they want to add it to, but they can't just get rid of it and wipe it out. And there are laws protecting that. Because, like Dave said, these are progressives that have been paid into by the players. And so it's
Yep.
due back to the players in some way. But since the Mirage is closing, how can they combine the progressives with something else? Because there's no guarantee that in a week or 2 weeks that those progressives will be hit. So they
Right.
have to do something.
Or
But what
years.
they
I mean,
right,
look at
yeah,
the
it could
Monte
be
Carlo
years.
machine. That Monte Carlo
Exactly,
machine at Park
exactly
MGM.
right. Yeah, it could be years. So they
Yep.
cannot guarantee that and they can't do anything with the machines to say make this hit within the next 2 weeks. They can't do that. But what they can do is give those away in prizes and giveaways. So like free play. Well, in this case, they can't do free play because they're closing, but
Right.
they can give away cars if they wanted to give away cars or something, but it has to be something of monetary value equal to that progressive amount. They have to give it back to the players somehow. So this is how they're going to do it. Big giveaway, last 2 weeks. I think that's an awesome way to do it.
It is
Generate
really a
some
cool way.
buzz. And people will ask, and this is going to transition to our next story about Tropicana. Well, why didn't Tropicana do that? Well, that's going to all be transferred to a different property. So there was a
Yep.
way for them to do that because they had other sister properties that they can transfer those progressives to. And so that falls within the rules. They can do that. So other
And
properties are going
also,
to add those progressives. So
Tropicana did not have that many progressives to begin
no,
with.
they did. Yeah, they didn't.
They were
That's true.
they were small progressives, and I don't think they had any metered progressives like that. Like I think all their progressives were like Dragon Links and all those that are essentially just not progressives in the sense of the same
Well,
sense.
those still have meter progressives, the
Right, they
grand and
still have the metered
the
progressives,
major.
but they can be
Yeah,
transferred easily
yeah,
later
those can be
than
transferred.
the
Yeah,
other
for
ones.
sure.
Right.
But speaking of Tropicana, how do you
Speaking
like
of
that segue?
Tropicana, the date has been set for the demolition of Tropicana, and I'm extremely upset about this.
Why?
We are going to be there on October the 6th for G2E. The start of G2E is on the 7th. We're going to be there the 6th. The demolition is currently set for the 2nd of October. We will
Oh
miss it by
no.
4 days. I am just
Maybe it'll like something. It'll be very windy that day or something, and
that's
they'll
what I'm
have to
hoping.
reschedule it. But
I'm
I feel
hoping
like
they'll
if
be
they need to
rescheduled.
reschedule it, it's going to be like months away.
It probably would. Well, it has to be done by the end of November. That is the deadline.
Oh, okay.
So it
Well,
has to be done by the end of November.
so they're only
So
going to get so many delays before they can do
only
this,
so many
right?
delays. So one delay till the 6th would be perfect. I'm going to fly in early if it is delayed. And I'm actually thinking about doing a red-eye trip out there.
Oh,
Go
just to
out
see
there
it.
in the morning just to see it and leave in the evening.
Oh man,
I mean, that's
you
how
think you're
bad.
tired now?
Oh yeah, I think I'm tired now, but that's how bad I want to see this because I have not seen in person live a demolition of a property happen. And if you look at properties as they are, like Mirage isn't getting demoed, it's just getting completely revamped. They are
Right.
completely gutting it and restart. So it's not getting demoed in a sense. But if you look at all the properties on the strip, Bally's is getting redone with Horseshoe, completely, rebranded, and they're going to do a complete renovation. Bill's Gambling Hall was just stripped down to the steel girders and then rebuilt as the Cromwell. So there's not a property on the strip that we're going to see a demo unless we're talking about Circus or the Stratosphere. But
Yeah.
otherwise, there's nothing. There's no
I
properties that
wonder
are going
when
to
the
be
last
demoed.
demo was. Do you remember?
That actually, I just looked that up and I completely forgot. But I want to say it was the Frontier,
Frontier.
but I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
100% sure on that
that's
because
way back. Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking that there was something that I'm missing
It's
and I
certainly been a
can't think of
while
it.
though,
Yeah, it's been a
especially on the
while.
strip. Yeah.
It's been about 15 years, I believe.
Wow.
So I cannot
Yeah.
remember what
So if
that
you're
property was, but if you remember what
again,
property is, please put it in.
yeah,
Remind
yeah.
me.
Let us
Put it in
know in
the
the
comments.
comments for sure. It's definitely been a while, and yeah, you locals out there, I hope you spend the time to go out there and see
Yep.
that. I guess my dream would be staying at New York on a top floor facing
Oh
it.
my
That
God,
would
wouldn't
be
that be
so
great?
epic to see, right?
Watch it.
Oh
Watch it
man,
come down.
I would love to get that on video. I don't know. Maybe when it gets closer to time, we might do something crazy like that. We'll see.
We'll just do a
Um,
quick out in the morning,
I
back
know.
in the evening.
Just get out there just to witness it. I mean, it's a once
Yep.
in a lifetime thing, right? I mean, it's
This is
iconic.
Tropicana.
It's
I mean, this was
Tropicana.
built in the 60s. This
It'll be
is
sad
Tropicana.
and iconic at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah.
Now,
All
as
right.
iconic as some of the other properties are, okay, it doesn't have the longevity. Like, let's say Bellagio. If they decide to demo Bellagio's only been there for like 30 years, 25
Yeah.
years, something like that.
They're not going to demo Bellagio. Not in our lifetime.
Tropicana, yeah, not anytime soon. But that gives you an idea. It's like doesn't have the same wow power as
Right.
Tropicana does. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But this big story,
All we're going to see is a bunch of white just disappear.
just
I still can't believe they did that. It's like, oh, we're going to renovate Tropicana. And what do? They just took a big can of white paint and just went boosh.
yep,
Everything turned white. It's like,
so much easier.
it looked
They
terrible.
literally whitewashed it. I mean, they just
Well, they did because even the windows were white.
yeah.
I mean, everything was
They
white.
had that screen over the top. It looked dumb.
Yeah.
Right
As soon
now,
as they
it is
did
fully
that, it made it
stripped.
look 10 times worse.
They've got all the glass out of it so far. I think there's still a little bit more to do on one of the other towers, but all the glass is gone. If they really wanted to at this point, they could just cut the thing with torches and bring it down by cranes.
Right.
It's just not very efficient to do and not very safe. So,
yeah. They got to make sure this thing really implodes in.
Yeah.
Because of all those neighboring properties.
Of all the neighborhoods.
Kind of crazy. All right. Speaking of crazy, here's our next transition. Let's get to the big lawsuit here that everybody's talking about. Let me give you the details about it, and then we're going to talk about it for a little bit, and then we want to hear your thoughts in the comments on what you guys think. So, just like with the Wheel of Fortune thing, this one's kind of similar in a couple of ways, but the end result might be a little different. So, the lawsuit, there was a lady on, let me get the date right. I think it was October 30th, 2023. So last October
MGM
at
Grand, Detroit.
in Detroit.
Yes.
She won the Blackjack Progressive, which was around $127,000. They said, congratulations. The dealer said, you won it, you hit it. They came and got her ID. And then the casino manager came back and said, unfortunately, we're not able to pay you your jackpot because you've been trespassed off the property. And they actually took her off the property and she didn't get paid. She tried several times in an attempt to collect. And the interesting thing about this entire story is that the trespass apparently occurred in 2015. That's almost 8 years later.
I mean, 8 years
that's
later,
a long time.
and she had been playing there the whole time.
Right.
She just hadn't won a jackpot, but she'd been playing there the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's not like
she said that she's been like a dozen times or something since that
Right.
event that occurred. And from what we can gather, there was basically she was arguing and she was trespassed. They said it was for panhandling, although I've seen conflicting stories about whether it was panhandling or just, creating a
Or
nuisance or whatever. We don't know the
creating a
details of what
nuisance.
it was,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, she was trespassed and she was told that it was for, she asked for how long. And they said 24 to 48 hours. I have not seen anything yet that says that she signed anything, but it's clear that they know who she is because it
Yep.
was an ID match, right? When she won the progressive jackpot and had to show her ID for the tax papers, they were able to identify her. So she was in the system somehow. And that's kind of the fuzzy point for me, is that, is there a signed trespass or is there not? And if
Right.
it was signed, I feel like they need to specifically say you are trespassed until 2030 or whatever the date range is.
Now,
But
from
I
my
mean,
research on being just trespassed from Oak Lawn, a trespass of that sort of time,
right,
it doesn't surprise me that they weren't given a piece of paper on it, because
right,
essentially it's
right,
for the weekend. It's like a cool
right,
down period. So it
right,
wouldn't shock me that she didn't get paperwork, but it should be documented at MGM Grand.
right.
If it's not documented, now they have a huge issue of proof. Where the proof lies is in MGM Grand saying this was documentation and she was informed of this if it was longer than 24 or 48 hours.
Right.
If it was a permanent ban, then she would have had to have been informed in some way or another.
I mean, it was documented because they somehow had her ID on file
Right.
during the trespass, right? So they knew who she was, but it's not clear what was she told, and it's hearsay. Like if
Mm-hmm.
she says it was 24 to 48 hours, and that's what MGM Grand is denying, it's hearsay unless they can provide proof of her signing something saying I am trespassed for this period of time. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, Dave, but I think if you're going to be trespassed for that long a time and you end up giving your ID, which she certainly did because they had record of her,
Yep.
I think that they would make her sign something saying, I understand that I forfeit everything if I come back in, I don't think that document exists. That's my personal opinion here, is that doesn't exist. We don't know, but I think this is kind of, what do they call it? The smoking gun. I think in this case, it's the
Yeah, it
smoking
would
gun,
be
is
that
that
document.
trespass piece of paper, right?
But she had been there
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah.
Now it was the casino's responsibility to see that she was there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure she used her card. She most
Yeah.
likely also got a new player's card within that amount of time. She
Yep.
probably used some of her comps. Any of those things should have triggered that she is banned, and it doesn't seem to.
Here's the
So I
conspiracy
think that
theory. Yeah.
MGM doesn't really have a leg to stand on.
I don't think they do either. In this case, I think they're in big trouble. Um, Even if she was trespassed, here's the thing: they had no problem with allowing her to stay there and play when
Nope.
she was losing. It was only when she hit a big progressive jackpot that they wanted to step in and say that. And before people say, well, maybe she wasn't using her card. It's true. Maybe she knew she was trespassed. I mean, this is all speculation.
That's
Maybe
probably
she knew she was
possible.
trespassed and she's like, I'm going to go in there and play anyway, but I'm just not going to use my player's card so they can't track me and all that stuff. I'm pretty certain that MGM Grand Detroit probably has facial recognition at the door when you walk in.
Now they
Because,
probably do, but back from 2015, they probably didn't.
oh, that's true. That's true.
So
But
facial
they do know,
recognition
they now
was
have it
really rolled
though.
out. Right.
They have it though, and they have her ID, and that was certainly could have been loaded into there to look for
Yep.
that.
They could
Um,
have.
but it's like, gosh, this is so difficult because there's so many unknowns. But if she's been in there for, I mean,
She's
golly, if
been in
this
there.
happened, if she was trespassed 2 weeks ago, that's a different story. But this is
Mm-hmm.
8 freaking years, and she's been there a dozen times, and they certainly had no problem with her being there and losing, and then suddenly she wins, and they don't want to pay it out,
Right.
and they're saying, "Oh, well, she was trespassed." It's like, I don't know, man. That's pretty weak.
Now, if
That's
it
pretty
does come
weak.
out that she wasn't using her player's card specifically because she knew she was banned,
Right.
that is going to
Right.
be a huge, belief off
Because then
MGM's
that's
shoulders.
right. That suggests that she knew
Yeah.
that she wasn't supposed to be there. Um,
But
but
it's
it's still like
127,000.
there
Pay it
has to be a
out.
document that if MGM Detroit has a document with her signature on it and a date that says you are trespassed until this date, you're not allowed on the property. then the case is closed, in my opinion. I don't know what she can do because she wasn't supposed to be on the property anyway. And
Right.
even if you get trespassed because of self exclusion, the same thing applies there. If you self exclude from that casino and you go in there and gamble and hit a jackpot, they will absolutely not pay you that jackpot. They don't have
It
to
looks horrible on
because you are
them, but they pay you.
trespassed.
Right.
Right,
Because they didn't
right,
honor the self-exclusion list, which is essentially a self-trespass or self-ban.
right, right. But it is also, here's where it gets complicated, but it is also their responsibility that if you do walk in there, that they got to kick you out.
Yep.
So they have to show that they made every effort possible to identify her as not supposed to be there and leaving. And after 8 years of her playing there, that's where it's like, what the heck? Like, that doesn't
Eight
sound right to me.
8 years seems like a long time to play
Yeah,
without ever having been
right,
ID'd at a casino.
right.
I mean, that seems
I
like a long
usually,
time.
I'm the kind of person that, I mean, people always say that I side with the casinos. I don't side with the casinos. I side with what makes the most sense.
Right.
And I have certainly, when it comes to like real tilts and malfunctions of slot machines and stuff like that, I side with my knowledge of how real tilts work and what malfunctions mean. And that was the whole Wheel of Fortune thing that we talked about. But here, I think the casino's trying to get away with not paying her this. And if they can't prove it, then I think she has a case here. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I can't call it either way. We don't know what it's going to be like if it goes to court. But this looks like it's heavily in her favor. I mean, that's just my gut feeling based on what I've seen so far.
It just
What do you
depends
think, Dave?
on, it really just depends on, was she informed? Did she know about it? Was she marketed to and came in the casino?
Yes. Yeah.
And if she used her player's card at all, I don't care if it was she put it in a slot machine. I don't care if she swiped it for some free entries. They 100% knew she was there
Yeah.
and they have to pay her out. Now, let's just say on the casino side, if they did ban her and she refused to sign anything, which is possible, you don't have to sign anything. Okay?
Right.
You don't have to sign anything. They did ban her. Let's just say that. She came back to the property. It was up to the casino at that time to kick her out. They did not. And at least another dozen times after that, and they didn't kick her out. Now the casino, I believe, is liable as well for not taking action, for inaction. So I think whichever way this leads out, she's getting paid out.
Yeah.
Unless there's some bombshell that she has been asked to leave in one of those times again,
Right.
and she keeps coming back. So it can go either way depending on how much more info comes out. Because this is one of those things where we're
Yeah.
only hearing the initial part. We don't
Yeah.
have
We're
the
hearing
whole
her
story
side.
yet.
We're not
We're hearing her
hearing
side.
Detroit because they have
We're
been
not hearing
quiet,
Detroit's
which they
side.
will be. Like,
They'll
I
release
want
a
you guys
press
to
release, yeah.
understand, like, it's not because they don't want to talk, but any big corporation like that, they have, I mean, they have
They've
entire
lawyered up.
departments. Yeah, they are lawyered up. And the first thing the lawyers are always going to tell them is news articles are going to come out. She's going to be doing interviews and all this stuff, but you got to remain quiet. You cannot say anything
Yep.
until we are ready to talk. And that's the way it's going to work. So it's not that they're refusing to admit right or wrong. They just need to be quiet right now while it works through the court system. So it is going to, we will get that side of the story eventually, just like we will in the Wheel of Fortune thing. But right
Yep.
now, all we're hearing is her side. But I don't know. The speculation train in me is just like it's so believable that they would do this, right? Like she has been there for 8 years, and I
Right.
almost believe that they have been mailing her mailers saying here's free play and stuff like this to get
I
her
would
to
believe
come
it.
back in. I believe her in this situation, but let us know in the comments, guys. Like, we want to know what you guys think of this story. What side do you think is right and wrong, and why? This is interesting stuff, and we're going to keep kind of reporting on these things because I think, a lot of people are like, "What does this have to do with gambling smart?" Well, it's being
There's a lot to
smart in
do.
that environment, right? The casino environment is not like walking into a grocery store. It's a much different play, right? And you need to be protected as well in case you are ever encountered with stuff like this. You know what to do and how to react, and get the signatures and get copies and do all these things so that you can be on. If somebody says you're trespassed, I'm like, I want to know for how long, and they say 24
Yeah.
hours. Say I want that in writing, and I want to sign something saying that it expires on this date.
You need to be
And
your own advocate in this
you
situation.
have to. You have
because
to.
no one else is going to be there to have your bag. You're going to have your own of you're
Yep.
getting trespassed or banned. You need to know all the details and find out all the info. And so
Yep.
it's why it's so important to gamble smart.
That's right.
And if you did something wrong, you'd know automatically why you got banned. But if
Right.
you did nothing wrong, then that's something different, obviously.
You know, like walking in the casino with a bunch of camera gear in your backpack.
What's wrong with that?
I
I was
know.
just there on Monday.
Oh, I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
I had breakfast with my sister and brother-in-law who were there with me.
Oh God, what
And
did I do?
we went over the account of the whole thing, and my brother-in-law was right there beside me when I was asked to put my backpack in the car, and he's like, nothing was mentioned about anything at all. It was just, you're not allowed to film. I said, okay, and put my bag in the car, and then come back, and I'm kicked out. So, but I will find out more tomorrow. I hope to have some info for you guys on Wednesday. I would really like to have something for you guys on Wednesday, especially something in writing that the casino has given me. But we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed.
I'm still sticking to the story that you went in there without your pants on.
If I went in there with my pants on, I would say I didn't have pants on.
That's right.
That's what happens.
And they do have a jail in the basement.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like they have a room in the basement, but in their case, it's for horses.
That's right. Just blink 3 times, Dave, if you're in trouble. Let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you under duress?
I'm gonna do a live one day from like inside a room with just like no color, white walls, all that.
Yeah, I went back to Oaklawn, guys.
I went back to Oaklawn.
All right, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think of this story.
Absolutely.
If we hear anything new, we will certainly catch you up on this, but don't expect a quick thing. These things move very slow through the courts, but we're going to keep an eye on it.
Just disappear,
as well as any other future
settled.
stories that may come out like this. So,
yep.
All right, guys. As always, gamble smart,
gamble safe,
and we'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Bye.